Welcome back to our Mummy Fighter of Qaz. Where we left off is we cleared all the way through Dungeon 12. Well, first we made it to our temple, got Qaz active. Pips are all the way max now. We got through Dungeon 12, and then we jumped into Lair, cleared all of Lair. Our gearing is pretty solidly strong in the defensive side and pretty good with the AC kind of regular defensive side. We would love a little bit more defenses just to get us a little more beefy. Our weapon game is a little lacking now. We have this spear that we got pretty much right off the bat, which is pretty okay for single target for now. But we're really wanting to rev up a broad axe that can carry us through the cleave game, which we expect will be very common when we stair dance for the rest of this game as Qaz. So we're really hoping for either an acquirement scroll or something to buy, a broad axe in the stores or on the ground in our orc. That's the hope. We have all the enchant weapons we'd ever want, so once we get one we can pop it up to top level and then hope we have a good brand on it, or if not, get some branding scrolls. We're a mummy, of course. If you weren't watching the last edition, the key to mummy is you have a faith amulet, so you really have to lean on that because you can't drink, so you lose half of your consumables. I mean, I guess evocables are maybe a third of your consumables, but I'm not usually too big into evocables, too hard particularly. But I guess technically there's some work there to be done. But yeah, it's an undead kind of creature, so you get those kind of classic immunities and stuff. And we've really filled out the rest with the other stuff we've gotten. Yeah, and so we're really hoping to hop into Orc and get some work done with regards to our weaponry as we move along here. Cool. Let's make sure we're trading what we want to train. Evo's coming up strong. Axis coming up strong. Fighting, always good. It's one of the few things that isn't just terrible on a mummy. Yeah, we're a little ahead of the game on shielding. I may actually hold off shielding at like 9. I suspect we'll get some better than buckler shields in Orc as well, so that was a little more powerful than maybe I had wanted. I could probably stair dance this part up. Very distant avalanche of rocks. So what that means is we are likely dealing with a lot. Oh my! This guy just keeps dancing away. Come on. We're probably dealing with a lava or a volcano on a different up, but this is a large enough Orc 1 that maybe we are all in one here. It's actually quite a lot of things here. I'm gonna kite back. I did not expect this Orc 1 to be a full-sized. Otherwise I would have stayed at the stairs a little more. I do really want to make that volcano because there's a high chance we get like a broad axe of flaming there or something. And also fire res is our weakness. Like we do have solutions for it short term. So good news is we made it. I could probably pop on this for now. I'd rather have one pip than will. Worst case, I can throw on this dagger. Just for the temporary fire resist. I don't know why I would ever need to force that, but if it's necessary, I do have solutions. And once again, remember we do have Quaz. So these clouds, like I don't know how lava interacts with it, but my clouds are good. And remember, Quaz will give me temporary resistant to you adapt resistances upon receiving elemental damage. So I will have some. We'll see it when it comes up, but we'll get like a plus fire temporarily if that comes to that. Okay, I'm gonna return back and clear from the other side. Okay, so we do have a tunnel. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we will take it slow. Let's pull back. So far, nothing too scary. We got a Draconian. Let's go Strength. Heavy Trident, not relevant. Okay, so there's going to be a broad axe down there, which is good to see. Are these the fencer's gloves? Yeah. I mean, they're better than nothing. So we've got to make sure we're going to do this all in one fell swoop. Cool. All right, that was pretty clean, and we've got some good stuff here. So this is just a better plate armor than what we're wearing, or a better thing than what we're wearing. That's never going to be useful to me. I'll put these on, and I'll look at them in a second here. Potions, not relevant. Cool. Right, that was a great volcano. So so first, let's drop the ring mail. We just have plate armor now. That's better. This helps our defenses a bit. Of course, we don't have the will anymore because of our negative will. So we may still use the chain mail of willpower because we're not like desperate for fire res right now. So I'd rather have 1 pip of will than 1 pip of fire. Cool. And now we can enchant weapon our broad axe all the way up. What's our 40 at 1 versus 20 at 0.7, so that's already the better solution, and it's only going to get better. I probably will stop armor where it is for now. I really want to get that axe up. It feels bad shutting this down any more than it has to be, but we do really want to get that axes prioritized now. Cool. What did we... Oh, yeah, and the gloves. So if we take a look at the gloves, it allows the wearer to riposte... I don't know, it's the French word. Riposte? I don't know. With melee weapons, swiftly retaliating against missed or blocked melee attacks. So the higher our blocking is, the more we can ripo. And the dex is whatever. So these are actually really nice gloves. So we're going to do a little bit bonus damage. Which will be very helpful. It doesn't mean we're like infinitely strong. Like I'm going to take a step back here. But like now we're going to do a lot of work here. We're 40 at 1 versus 32 at 1.1. So unless we want our fire while still attacking, which is unlikely, we are now fully broad-axed. I do like the idea of the reach, but our broad axe is so strong now. So let's kind of come here. What kind of hat is this? Stealth. It would have been cool if it was a magic resist hat on the slug. Or will, I guess it's called now. That's unfortunate, but whatever. All right. It would be cool to start getting throwing active, particularly now that we're not doing any reach with our spear. We gotta be very careful not to stray. Orc can overwhelm quick if you're not prepared. So we found another up. Let's see, anything come our way? Nope. Looks like all our ups are nowhere near things. So for better or for worse, we're gonna have to really stretch out here. I'm gonna retreat. Can be very dangerous. Back it up. So far, so good. Let's heal it up. We're still not out of the woods here, though. We keep stair dancing until it's clear. It's not the best stair dancing position, especially with all these spears, but you don't want to chase an orc. Well, you don't ever want to chase, especially as Qaz. But especially on orc in a scenario like this where all our stairs are nowhere near anything. You can do a little corner work here, but you don't want to go too far. Because just south of us is probably like a castle situation. Yeah, as expected, open air castle situation. Let's pull back. By kind of poking in there, we've activated the deeper recesses of the situation. So we can pull back, get these casters out and about, reset my health, carry on. Our first store of the day, or not of the day, but of the floor, So we got some digging. That's cool. Acid. That's way too expensive. I'll never buy that acid. There's no point in even wasting my time with that marker. Phantom mirrors are cool. I don't probably ever need any ID. Will and regen on a ring mail. I'll note it. I'll probably never buy that. It's just too weak of a defense. Okay, so we have a reflect with an RLX built in. So if we ever needed to reswap things around, give up our guardian spirit, which is unlikely, but then also maintain RLX, it's there. Unlikely. Some interesting chainmails. What are we using right now? Just a chainmail of will, so there's some potential there. We do have that chainmail of fire. So unfortunately for us, we didn't get too much awesome stuff here. Well, I mean, we got the volcano. I'm very happy with that. I think I will go and buy these. What's our cloak? Prez? It's okay. I think I'll buy these chainmails. And see what they're all about. Let's buy first one. Slay +9, RC up. Wow, this is actually really good unless you care about fire resistance. Let's drop some stuff here. Wow. That would be negative R fire though. That's so crazy. I mean, we are the resistance god. That's tough. Let's see what the other one is. It's not bad at all. It's less aggressively cool, but that would give us, instead of will, it would give us fire res and regen on a body and have +7. I think that's our default for now. Cool. So we'll never, well, I'll say the will plus, I'll note the ring mail for now. Okay, so let's work on dungeon 13. Yeah. Got a lot of body armor to work with. That slay +6 is so nice, but the fact that we're already negative fire and then all of a sudden we add another negative fire and we already have cold handled, it feels wacky to go that way. Alright, so let's just stare dance all this craziness. Nothing too much to be afraid of. We have a trove, +3 fire dragon scales. So, I mean, we don't have the fire dragon scales, but we do have +3 enchant armor. We'll see where that takes us. Maybe that's definitely achievable. So, we'll keep in mind that trove. Once we hit our min delay on axes, I might start up my shield again in prep for a shield in the future. Rev. Ooh, okay, so this is either branding or acquirement. So I'll buy it. I will look it up, and we just got an acquirement for like 20 gold. We now no longer care to identify anything because the only thing left is branding. So let's learn it up. So protection fire ring is nice. Gold is nice, although we kind of have bought everything we care about. I doubt I'm using this, but let's take a look. So I'm not using this in no scenario, but I just wanted to note it would be really interesting to see if Thunder synergizes with my turn clouds into fire into elementals, because if the clouds are above them, then you could just like spam that and just fill the space with stuff. The immunity to clouds is irrelevant, and Elec, we have Elec, so I'm not gonna pick that. And we already know what our trove is, so it's not like we need to save for a trove that wants 2 acquirement scrolls or something. So the question is do we want a ring of protection from fire or 400 gold, almost 500 gold? If we look at our purchasables, we have gold and we don't want to really buy any of this. So, or like we're not desperate to buy any of this. So I'm not like so excited for gold. So I think I have to go with the protection from fire ring. So now we have an R fire solution that can work for us. I perhaps swap out the ring of slaying. I get some R fire built in. I can therefore use. Ooh, what am I? Oh, but I would be dropping the R fire and the regen off my body. I was gonna say if I pop my R fire up, that means I can use the slay, and then I get +2 slay because I'm dropping the ring but adding the body. But no, it's more complicated than that. See, I got hit by R fire, so I got an R fire pip. That's kind of the god fixing things up a little bit. It's nothing crazy, and it's a reactive situation. Like the first hit usually gets through in full blast, and then it's like, oh, I acknowledge you need R fire right now. Here's your R fire. So it's not a solution, it's just a reactionary benefit. There's a broad axe. I'm not gonna like obsess on building a second broad axe, but at least yet. But technically, that's an option if we want to swap off a fire and go to something else. But like keep fire. Like I like having things like an anti-magic for like oofs or caster types. Let's pull back a bit. D14 done. Buckler of protection. So this is just a better buckler. I would love a shield though, like but this is essentially what was it, +3 with the buckler of arm AC. Let me double check. Yeah, so this is like you get your 2 shielding, whatever your base shielding +2, and then you get +3. So that's like pretty darn good. That's like a best case scenario for like a caster who's using a shield. You get the low encumbrance, yet you actually get like real defenses. So that's it is what it is. We will have the strength to do real shielding, and we probably should sooner than later. So we have our riposte. Is that the way to say it? Gloves. So I'd rather have the riposte and the dex. I mean, I guess I'm throwing maybe a little bit. Then the +2 AC on the gloves. I don't need that ring. Okay. Let's see. Okay. right, D15 done. So let's inspect and see what our first steps will be. So we actually got pretty rewarded with regards to our options here. We have infinite R poison, so both swamp and snake are good for us. I think I would prefer snake, although I do have a broad axe of flaming. I'll do swamp. I think on average swamp is slightly easier than snake, but we got to be careful here. Now that we're entering serious territory, we have to acknowledge that stair dancing is only going to get harder. There are things that can rip us off stairs, for example, or constrict us now. And the thing with this kind of stair dancing thing is we can't really skip floors. Not that I do normally, but like you can't min clear a floor because it's unsafe. You'll call everything on the floor to you. If you pop back up to it. See those guys, these guys are scary. They'll pull you off the floor or off your stair. And of course, the first like entrance to a floor or to a branch is the scariest because there's no other options to stair dance. So you really want to hope that your first clear is thorough and complete and not over, you know, because you can't like swap to a different stair to enter swamp from, for example. And actually, not only are we immune to poison, we are also immune to clouds. And so their breathing of clouds is completely negated. Like, I'm pretty sure these are clouds. A cloud of pestilence. I don't think these affect me because I'm immune to clouds. Like, it's completely immune. So I just saw some swamp dragon scales, completely irrelevant because of the R poison infinite. But it is what it is. Okay. I'll pick that up just for the lack of whatever. You never know. +4 ring of fire. No thanks. Okay, we're not really getting here. So here's kind of the strat. You just enter different stairs and then work your way out from those stairs. It's kind of why I want to get throwing active for a little bit here, so you can really engage from your safety. So now that we've established the initial pull from our stair, you then kind of work your way around. Always kite back to the stair. Because when you're fighting, if you go in, like out, or what's the best way to say it, towards the mystery of the unknown, like this, you are moving your loudness towards more and more unknown space. So the second you see something that you don't know, pull backwards if you want to be truly safe. All right, Swamp 3. different stair. Oh, we got a Milglot behind us. He can fear and corrupt. I think we can just nuke him. I'm gonna upheaval. I haven't been doing much of my god stuff. I can smite him with upheaval pretty well from ranged. Cool. And reset. So like named guys I can really just kind of take care of. I still have plenty of piety. I have a faith amulet, so it'll regen fairly fine. The reason why like you really lean on the piety for Quaz is when we're starting to use and spam our disaster area. I haven't yet even used it, but once you get to like needing to clear things like a depths that's all on your grill, it is a solution. Very much so. A lot of dragons for a Swamp 3. Okay, Swamp 3 is done. Cool. Here's the big one. So if we have a like at an end of a branch, you're gonna get crazy number of creatures in whatever scenario they're setting us up for. You gotta be very careful not to chase because there might be 40 swamp dragons, and although we've got immunities to that, it's just like you don't want to chase. And so like here we go. To our left is some sort of swamp dragon or something, and vault. Don't overwhelm yourself. Kind of spread out the engage points. Like we have all the solutions to this. It's just the only thing that can ruin us is if we get too crazy about it. We have Broadox of Flaming. We have all our pips of Piety. We have immunity to clouds. We got a beefy defense. We know our map. We have access to our stair. Don't rush it, because there's going to be so many of these hydras still. Seven-headed. Oh, top left. Okay, cool. That's fine. I seriously doubt this was a Lernian Hydra situation because we would have seen it by now. So this was just a classic pack all the swamp dragons and drakes in the middle situation. Cool. So we got a brand weapon as well. So I mean, I'm not going to start branding something that's a +0. Like, I'll wait until I see a broad axe that is of note and then go from there. We did get an anti-magic war axe. I'll maybe pick up that. I'm not going to start enchanting that either. But yeah, that's interesting to see. Is there anything else I want to drop here? I'm not really going to use Vuln. I was like, I'll keep Vuln in my bag. It's not like we have all these potions to carry, but you still have to item management a little bit. We're at 45 out of 52. Are we at min delay? I think 18 is min delay. Yeah, so we're getting there. Our invocations well ahead of curve, pretty good. Fighting's going well. I don't suppose there's any shields, you know. Okay, so we're gonna head to Snakebit now. Oh, snake, and P. All right, and so once again, do not chase. Here, they can constrict me. That's the danger. So I'm gonna, when they're not constricted and you have access to a stairs, take advantage of it. Any way you can split snakes up, you take advantage of. And we're gonna get some good shielding here. Now, it's gonna have to be a really solid kite shield and tower shield to take us off of this maximally enchanted buckler of protection. But this, if you want a shield, snake is the place to be. Let's pull back. Good stores, hopefully. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Gals is good. Very good, actually. It can pull people off of the stairs. Summoning's good. I actually may just buy the Gals right here and now. Because the ability to pull people off of stairs is very powerful. And I'll buy the summoning. Very cool. Okay. Now am I going to start training evocables? Probably not, but just the movement part of it is plenty good. And that tends to work perfectly fine. Okay, this is my first time I'm going to do disaster area. Although I do have a lot of elemental forms healer. I'm going to do elemental forms to start. Yeah, plenty enough. This is not like a whole floor's on me. So that's what it looks like. You see how there's all these things around me? I could do it again, and look at how many I could spawn. It's pretty crazy. We got to be careful. I have 1 pip of will. We're a little behind on the will because of the whole shenanigans with our negative will on our ring. It'd be really cool if we could get those, I think they're boots that stop you from being able to be constricted. But we're kind of almost through Snake anyways, so it's not a huge deal. See, that's what Quaz feels like. You do a bunch of clearing. It's a little tedious at first, and then you kind of find out that your floor is already done for you. So we just got an interesting necklace. It gives you HP, it gives you an RN, and then it gives you an additional ring. It's an interesting equation little game you play with that, because like the RN doesn't matter, it's zeroed out, but it's like, well, how much HP am I gaining with my Guardian Spirit? Now it's quite a lot, but it's like if you didn't have Guardian Spirit, and it's like, what kind of ring could I put on? If I have like a really awesome ring that would be amazing, and then I also get 7 HP and RN, whatever, that's where that necklace comes into play. I'm probably never going to use it, but I'll keep it on my body in case I get like the greatest ring known to man. Like the ring I have right now, other than the negative will part of it, is pretty darn great. But like, let's say I got a different one, like something else of that nature, like a +4 will ring or something crazy like that, you know, then that's when I'm talking, let's put this additional ring on via this manner or something, you know. Basically, if there's a ring that's better than sacking, well, I guess we'd have to get 2 good rings, because we would throw away the Slayer, the ring of slaying, and then be like, oh, and then we have a 3rd ring that is so great that it's better than wearing a Guardian Spirit, you know. So it's unlikely. I have inventory space though, so I'll keep it on my body. It's nice we have so many teleport scrolls. That's going to help allow us to be more conscious of teleporting. So we just got a kite shield reflection. Yes, please. So as I was saying, I really do, the only thing I would drop for this protection is something of niceness, or of nicety, way better than that. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, having reflection in addition to my repel missiles now fully confirms Guardian Spirit is the way to go with my neck. We now have that solution built into our shield, and it is a better shield. Awesome. So the only thing better now is if we get like a tower shield of, I don't know, fire resistance or reflection, you know. To be honest, even a tower shield of resistance might be not good enough. I suppose that could give us an argument to like not use this ring by default, and then that will give us will back, and I don't want to play that game yet till we see it though. Anyway, so Snake Pit 4. This is very important to stay on the stair. There are so many things in Snake that will pile on you from that ending. So just off and on it. Now, it's kind of funny, of course, sometimes when we're doing Snake, like for example, or yeah, I think I did it last in the Berserker how-to with the Gargoyle Berserker, that we kind of like having noise to scare the things out of the final vaults of whatever branch we're in. So we'll kind of get that by default. And I was speaking earlier, maybe it was last video, part 1 of this, about how it's like, oh, can you imagine Quaz with Zot? Well, I know it's going to make like Zot 1 through 4 a little bit more, let's call it tense, than normal. But it's funny, Zot 5 is kind of easier, because your noise really shakes things up, and you just get to like get everything out of those lungs very clean, like with pace, and it's actually quite a, not enjoyable, who enjoys it, but a controlled experience. And then on top of that, we do typically, kite shield reflection. Okay, you typically end the game with pretty darn good resistances as Quaz. So our and so orbs, oofs, are less annoying, as well as like jumping clowns are less annoying because they're jumping into your thunder and lightning and clouds and stuff. So it's like there's some trade-offs. Like you pick a god to help you typically, and you want help in the hardest parts of the game. And so it's like, why would you want Quaz if it's going to scare everything up? Well, like there's some examples. We just obviously, or a few seconds ago, we saw that our snake ending is to the top right. We're getting one of those classic S's or whatever, Maybe it's going to be the arc one. Who's to say? All our ups are all over here, though. That's kind of unfortunate. Would be cool if we could get some up access on the right side. But that's fine. Let's get the moving out of there. Oh, there's a Lazertang. Not today. Love me some Lazertang. Was it my Gargoyle Berserker that we just launched before this series that started as a Lazertang user, I think? Maybe not. I think there was something to do with a Lazertang. If not, I'm misremembering, but love me some Lazertang. No, it wasn't the Berserker. Now I'm thinking of, because I played a game offline that I got a Lazertang, the silver Lazertang of our Arisis mutation as a starting weapon, and I remember I got it from an acquirement scroll, and then I remember my Gargoyle game for the Berserker series. I didn't get a single acquirement scroll all game, as far as I recall. Anyway, that's just off topic, unrelated to anything we're doing here. I tend to remember when I get Lazertangs. Very fun. All right. Oh, I guess we never cleared this room in here. Mm-hmm. All right. Now we'll see what we're dealing with. Is it the S? Is it just like the Arch version of it? Looks like it's the Arch version of it. Pull back. Yep, the Arch. Cool. Oh, anything on the floor of note? Not that I see. Kite Shield Reflection, we've got a better one, +1. Cool. All right, so we've now finished both of our initial S branch runes. So typically we would jump into Elf at this point. The question is, do we, when we have almost no will? We don't have any Rings of Will. I could put this Chainmail on. It would drop the offensive, like the defensive plus, 5 AC there. We would lose our fire. We would lose a regen, which is very important. I don't know. This is real tough. Because like we cannot do Abyss 3 with 1 pip of will. I have 1, right? Yeah. And doing it with 2 is basically the same. You want like 3 will or more if you can. Especially since I'm going to be calling everything to me. It's real tough. So I have Auralek and I have Cold maxed out. So I think I could maybe pop into Vault. See how that is. The tough thing of Vault is that it's gonna sometimes lock us down from stair dancing. So we got to be careful about that. And we're going to be marked so much by these Guardian dudes, the Vault Guardians, with their spell, with only 1 pip of will, which is fine. I mean, get things moving, get things to me, whatever. Just got to be careful for this first Vault. Vault 1 is always very tough. See, now we've been marked. Let's get back to the stair. Reset. Now with Vault, there's a lot of shooters, archers, centaurs, things of that nature. Centaur or yak hunters, whatever they're called. We have the reflect and the repulse, so like we have maximized our reflection style weirdnesses, whatever phrase you want to use for an aptitude in game. And the repulsion I think helps with some spells that are casted upon me, so that's a little helpful without the will. But things like getting marked and stuff aren't going to stop. So we just got an acquirement. Let's read it. So we can get the staff is irrelevant. The gold is cool, but once again, we're not like desperate to buy anything. The manual of axes can only help, although it's not exciting. Now this amulet, it's a regen amulet with 2 pips of fire, but you corrode when you take damage sometimes. The question is, do we want regen and 2 pips of our fire instead of Guardian Spirit? It's a really tough call. To get that fire on us would be like just locking down the game with regards to resistances, because if we get hit by fire, we get the final one. So kind of like with this god, you don't want 3 pips of something. You want 2 pips of cold and 2 pips of fire, because the other pip will come from your god. So that would just like solve fire for us. And technically we could swap the chainmail with our will chainmail, and the neck would essentially replace. You would trade Guardian Spirit for whatever value you get from the other body, but then you would be trading for the same R fire and regen, although you get 2 pips of R fire. So would I prefer Guardian Spirit against 1 R fire and will? Is really the question. Versus, do I just want a trainer of axes to like take away my -2 and turn it into a +2 to really like lock down these axes, which by the way, we've just kind of hit our thing, so we're going to want to get back online for our armor and our fighting. Guardian Spirit, we have 160-ish health, and Guardian Spirit's adds another 30. So that's, you know, that's like 15% or so extra health versus regen. Regen would get us probably another 1 HP per turn. We'd be ticking up 2 HP per turn. It's so tough. The R fire's nice. The extra will. Do we have any bodies that we want to, that is like amazing? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but we could technically get that ring mail and get will and the regen back and have like we would be dropping 1 regen to gain the other, I think was the argument we were doing. So we wouldn't gain that extra regen. It would just be trading it off. It feels bad, but I think I'm just going to go with the axes. It's a guaranteed. There's just too much in the air with that whole situation with that necklace. It feels like it could have been good, but it wasn't an easy sell. Pull back. Now, if I really wanted, I could just pop my elementals, have this dealt with right here and now, but, you know, let's play the smart game while we're here so that we get used to playing well when it matters. Plus, a god like Qaz, it's less. Let's see, anything here? Not really. It's less. Like one thing you get with some gods, it's like if you're not using its abilities, you're wasting your potential. It's like you use that god for a reason, and if you don't use its abilities, what are you doing? You're wasting your time here. Ooh, we got a hand axe. So sometimes that's the case. But Qaz still works, and you benefit from it having maximum pips. So, like, not using Qaz is perfectly fine until you actually want to start spamming disaster area. Because the moment you need to spam disaster area, you want those piety, you know? So I'm not feeling bad doing these little dances to get around the idea of using Qaz. All right. Oh, another thing with the R Fire decision with that neck was that I do have the Ring of R Fire. If I do need R Fire immediately, I can do that if I have to. So we got a hand cannon. I may consider doing some ranged work. I'm not sure exactly. It's kind of nice to have something to throw at somebody. I'm going to pull up. Let's pull up. Getting fragile is never fun. Been marked. Getting marked isn't the worst, like it gets things moving. but I'd rather just not be marked. It's a summoner type. We have all our ups and downs established, so this is kind of what we got to work with regards to our spread here. See, it's like Quaz brings everyone over, and so you're only like half explored the map, but then you just start spamming auto explore, and you just get everything already done. So we have 3. Well, dragon. Let's look it up. No fire dragon. We have 3 extra quote unquote enchant armors beyond our idea of the trove. So we could start using it. I'm not sure exactly on what. I'm always afraid that our shield will get like superseded. It's pretty hard to supersede, but it's like I would love a tower shield eventually. So I'm always afraid of enchanting a shield. Let's look at it. I don't want to enchant my helmets. The cloak is kind of endgamey, but it would be cool if we could get like a cloak of magic resist, you know, and then it's like you want to enchant that up. I'm unsure. Okay, anyway, Vault 3. Not much here. We have all the resistances to handle. I believe we don't need Orcish as much either. Like, we have it built into this ring. So there's a scenario where it's like Orcish is somewhat being handled by Quaz as a reactionary element, and that quote unquote is good enough. And then it's like, well, we have enough RC with something else that we don't necessarily need to double up. And then if we can argue our brain through that kind of logic, then we can abandon that ring and then just get will built in back. And then from there, we can put a different ring on, you know, all that kind of logic that could follow through. So that's probably a solution in our future. It just feels really weird to like logic your way out of that solid ring. So there was a hand cannon here. I think it was just a basic one, though. We have established all our ups, so this is what we got to work with. See, we get Orcish plus when we get hit by Elec. So it's like, do we care that much about having Orcish built in? You know, that's the kind of trade-off. We've been marked. Let's just back it up. I know we've probably awoken the whole floor anyways, but just play it safe. It's funny, just walking around will kill the thing with our Quaz cloud. Okay. Oh, we got our Boris Good old Boris. Nice to see you. Goodbye, Boris. All right, let's see what dropped, because there was some stuff that dropped I saw. Must have been the shimmy here. Okay. Oh, Ring of Will. Interesting. Okay, so I think I'll put this on over the Slaying. I was hoping to get a Ring of Will sooner than later. I may even continue to pick them up. I will never need 2 Rings of Slaying, so I will drop that. So now we have some will that we can play around and reach what we want for Elven Halls if and when we get there. So let's pop into Vaults 4. Okay. We really woke up the beast here, which is fine. I know we're not on the stair, but this is good enough for what we're seeing. Short of getting a named mob in our face, that's probably all that we would ever want. So let's try a different down. Break line of sight. See, the thing with throwing, it's like, yeah, it would be really cool if I could just like have a nice throwing. I'm going to Elemental Fury this situation. And then I'm in a disaster area. There's your disaster area. First time seeing it. So the downside of it is that it creates the ground effects now. Back in the day, I don't think it created those ground effects, but you kind of want to make sure wherever you're standing is where you want to be, hence the stairs. But otherwise, you know, maybe you have flying or something, but whatever. It really is like a one-shot kill of everything you could see in most cases. It's truly an emergency. Okay, I've solved the problem. I will pull back and summon some elementals. Cool. I'm going to back away here. I'm actually going to teleport. I'm not in love with the situation, and I have all these teleports. All good. I know I was marked, for example, like that was a part of it. And then we saw the Ben, whatever his name is, Suzanne. Bei Shuzen. Just gonna go in. Like, I could, look at this. Oh, actually, I guess I'm not affected by his clouds, but I can't use them. I guess that's the trade-off. The Storm Dragon shields aren't relevant to us. Got a broad axe in front of us. Ooh, please don't. Okay, it wasn't a real mutator. Okay. I was gonna say, please don't mutate me. Please don't mutate me. I don't get, I mean, if you have paid attention, we do not have the ability to use mutation potions, so you do not want to be mutated. That's for sure. Okay, so our Vaults 4 is done, and we've actually gone longer than I thought. So what I'll do is I'm gonna go, oops, hello. I'm gonna go to Elven Halls 0, and so far in this series, we've since we started this last episode, is we where did we start? Did we leave off at the end of Lair? Yes. So then we started off with our Orc clear. We did that. we got a volcano in there, and that gave us our broad axe of flaming, which was a lifesaver. We cleared orc. Didn't get much out of orc, to be honest. And then we moved on to our S branches. We did swamp, which was fairly simple. We had like optimal defenses against everything swamp could have ever offered. And then we moved to snake. Snake was pretty easy itself as well. No issues. There might have been like a one case where I had to summon some dudes to help, but otherwise all good. And then we moved on to vaults. We did some item juggling, trying to figure out what we could do. Vaults was our best solution. We actually had to use some real Quaz abilities in vaults, but as you can see, our pips are right back up to top. Even if I don't even know if they went down to 4. Or to, I guess, 5, because it goes up to 6. Yeah, so our vaults are done, and so our next step is probably elf, now that we have some will and some shenagling that we could get a little bit more, get some new items, I suppose, and then carry on with onwards from there. So yep, our character's looking solid. We're slowly improving upwards in our power level. And yeah, we're training our axes casually, getting everything up as well along the side. And I will see you guys next episode, where we'll tackle elves and onward. See ya.